Wake up. It's time to do a Pokadot tie update. Wake up. Wake up.
It's here. It is time. I don't know how to make a tie. I don't know how to tie a tie. I should know how to tie a tie, but I just don't know. Don't judge me. I just do a little, tiny little, tasty tool. That's all. Alright, welcome to the latest Pokadot tie update. Using my headset here because it picks up the best quality audio and it's more clear for the audience. Anyways, blurry, go away. There we go. So yeah, Pokadot tie update. There has been a lot going on with me for the past little bit, and you're probably wondering, you were just in California. Why did you go? Why did you go back to Oregon? Or whatever. And well, that's what this is about. So I went down to California to find peace with myself. I was not having any peace in Oregon, and I haven't for a while. And I had a lot of stress going on with me, and I needed a place just to be calm and peaceful. And so I went down to my dad's in Sacramento. Well, not in Sacramento, but right outside Sacramento. And it was really great. I really enjoyed myself. It was different, but I enjoyed myself for the most part. I was down there for about 2 months, maybe 2.5 months. I don't know. I just got back home like a week ago. Yeah, it's been about a week. So the reasons why I left. So with work, I quit my job. So that's a part of one of the reasons why I left. But there's also one big reason why I left, and I need to position my camera. So basically, with my job, it was a good job. I enjoyed it. I worked there for about 4 or 5 weeks, and it was a really good job. I liked it. The coworkers were really nice. My manager's really nice. But the issue was that when they hired me to work there, I applied for dishwasher, and that was taken literally moments before I applied. And me and the dishwasher both actually toured the restaurant together for our first day. And so they were like, well, we don't have you on dishwasher, so how about we give you the ability to do grill? So I'm like, yeah, sure, I'm willing to try it out, give it a good old try, and learn it. And the thing is that apparently most restaurants don't start out new people on the grill. Like they usually start you out with prep work or on the fryer. They never let new fresh people who's never done grill work start on the fry line. And all my coworkers were confused, and my prep workers were confused as to why I was working there. And I'm like, well, that's what they had me do, so I'm doing it. Um, so first off, they had an expectation for me that should have been lowered because that's just like a known thing apparently that they don't start dishwashers out. I mean, I'm not they don't start they don't start grill workers out new. They work themselves up to become a grill. Um, and so that was already so the job itself was difficult in itself, but manageable. Every job's gonna come with its difficulties, and that's totally understandable and totally fine. I'm well aware of that. Um, but when they were training me, they didn't train me with someone who spoke English. I mean, they did, but very little English. Um, and I'm not racist for that. I just, if you don't speak good English, I don't know how I'm supposed to learn. And so with very little English that I couldn't understand their accents, and in a busy, fast working, loud environment, and I can't understand what you're saying, and you're like, hustle, you bitch. And so like you're having to hustle and everything like that. And it's very difficult. And so I was trained basically with like whistling and pointing and snapping, like, hey, you go there, pick that up, go there, do the mix, okay, go. Like that was actually even more understandable than what I was. That was more better than I was actually trained. That would be better if I was trained like that too. No, it was like that though. Um, and and so they started me on grill and on slow days only. They didn't have me do any busy days. Busy days are Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. And the managers and coworkers all know that those are busy days. But they all start me on slow days, which is good. And they got me on grill, and I got pretty good at it. But they never gave me any busy days, so I didn't know how to. I didn't experience a busy day. And then I got not to where I felt very comfortable, but to the point where I felt comfortable enough. And so they're like, okay, so we're gonna have you work in another station now. And I'm like, okay, I suppose. And I did a week of grill. And then next week I was prep. And prep workers, they come in early in the morning and they have a list of things to do. They like fill 22 quarts of lettuce, like 5 times, with different types of lettuce. Do chop whatever vegetables need to be chopped, whatever, which is fine. Once again, it's a job. It's manageable. That's whatever, Um, although that was my least preferred one because you had to get a lot done before the day started. Otherwise, you're gonna be catching up for the rest of the day, which sucks. Because you could be working back in the prep station, and if they had like a super busy, like one day I had a super busy night the night before, so I basically had to refill the entire inventory of the walk-in freezer, and it was and then I was caught up, and I was slow behind, and then they asked me to help them on the grill in the front, so I had to stop doing my prep work and go help them on the grill, and so I just couldn't get more of it done. So once again, manageable. It's whatever. It's job's a job. And then they did that for me for about a week, or yeah, about a week, and then they're like my prep worker, Christy, my morning prep worker. She's really nice. She's like, so ever since I met you, I wanted you to work on salad station. And I'm like, okay, I suppose. And they put me on the salad station. Now, the thing is, I asked all the other coworkers, I'm like, so is this something that everyone has to do, or is this particularly for me, or is it like, I don't, they're moving me around a lot, and I'm not able to feel like I'm perfecting my station. And I want to be able to perfect my station so that when it comes to a busy night, I know what I'm doing. And they are like, oh no, this is weird. They usually have you working on a station for a month before they even change you around. It's really weird that they're changing you around so much. And I'm like, oh, that is really weird then, okay. And I'm like, is it because I suck? And you guys are trying to find me? They're trying to move me to the next station. And I asked my manager, and he's like, well, it's because we're trying to see where you fit best, you work best at. Which is, I mean, I guess that's so understandable, but I can't exactly practice and do my best when you keep changing my position to where I can't, practice makes perfection. I fully believe that. So if you have me work here for a week, learn everything there is, every little tiny detail there is to do, and then move me to the next station and have me learn every single little thing to do, and then move me to the next station and learn every single thing, and if you mess up one single thing, you get bitched at and complained about. So then they're like, okay, so I'm gonna have you move on to the salad station. They only had me work there for 3 days. I basically only learned how to put the salads away, put the salads up, and make just the basics, just make the very basics. And they only had me work there for 3 days, and that was that. And then while still working prep and grill, I'm like, okay, it's whatever, And then they had me do dishwashing. And dishwashing is simple enough. I mean, it can get pretty busy, but it's as long as you keep a steady pace, it's okay. So yeah, they had me do night shift and morning shift, and for all stations. And so then it came down to like the last couple days, and the we just got a new prep worker. And a prep worker is, so we have managers we have managers who do manager and stuff like that, and then we have prep workers, and then we have regular coworkers. So the prep workers are like, we have a specific prep worker for the grill, specific prep worker for the it got me. Special special prep worker for another station. So get out of here, pant leg. I'm holding my phone with my knees right now. There. No, knees too high. There you go. So yeah, so they have a prep station for each one, and so they put me on night shift, and they were dumb bitch. So they put me on night shift, and we just got a new night shift prep worker, and he transferred from another restaurant, from the same restaurant franchise, but a couple miles the other way. And so he transferred over, and they and he seemed nice. He seemed nice around managers and around like other coworkers and stuff. But like, I don't know, it was like when it like he's like, oh yeah, man, if you have any questions, feel free to ask me. I'm doing, if you have any questions, feel free to ask me. I know you're new, whatever. And when I ask him a question, he's like, oh man, come on, why do you have to know? Why do you have to ask that? You should know this by now. Come on, man. And then he would punish me in a sense and put me on dishwasher. He's like, okay, you know what? Just get out of here. Go to dishwashing. And I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. And that's if I made just a slight mistake. Whether a burger didn't get out in time, or the burger wasn't medium well, it was well, or if it was medium, it was like any little tiny mistake I made. Kyle? No. I thought he woke up. So that was happening. And then so so that's Diego. And then Carla, she just seems like a bitch. And she seemed like she was like bullying in a sense just because she can, and like taking advantage of the fact. So like if I made a mistake, she purposely went out of her way to bitch at me. It seemed like corrective criticism. I totally understand. I totally need corrective criticism. I fully believe in corrective criticism, but it's another thing to be almost harassed in a sense and bullied. So that was going on between both of them. And then on the last night, the manager. So there were 4 managers. Corey, who I liked the most, he was really funny, really nice. Then there was Mandy and Nick, and then Mark. Mark's an asshole. They all have their different personalities, and Mark is strictly business. He's like, if the food's not out there right there, I'm gonna complain and bitch to you. Everyone else is like, oh hey, here, let me give you some advice. Let me do something else, Like Mark is the Gordon Ramsay of the kitchen in a sense. He's just an asshole. And he can be nice he's nice if you are doing your job well, like to perfection. If you're not to perfection, then he's an asshole. Like straight up. It's like there's no middle line. It's just awesome, asshole. So he was working with my night shifts and for the last couple days. And the thing with me was that there was everyone else around me have been working there for a long time. So they are all perfection. And they're like super fast, like chopping onions, like and putting burgers, like putting it together really fast and be able to handle like 50 burgers on the grill at once. I'm new. I don't understand how they can go that fast. So when you compare, I'm going fast. I'm doing good. I asked all my other people. I'm doing good as a new person. But because you're comparing me to everyone else, I seem like I'm going slow and not doing my job. Although I am doing my job. But on a particularly busy night, when we need to get stuff done and fast, it makes it seem like I'm not doing my job very well. Even though I'm doing it to my best capacity of training wise. So on the last night I was working, it was already a super busy day. Busy night. Super duper busy. And Diego and Carla kept bitching at me at every little tiny thing, micromanaging every little thing I did. And then we got like a party of 40 people come in. And so yeah, it was a party of 40 people. And so I'm totally good on the grill when it is like a slow day, like not a slow day, but like an average busy day, like an average day, slightly busy. But when it comes like to party of 40, and like I already have a whole restaurant of orders, but then I get another whole shitload of people pop onto me at once, and I have to manage the fish, the chicken, the vegetables, and the beef patties with like 40 different orders that each burger, each thing that was purchased has to be out within 10 minutes, which is totally reasonable, right? But when you have like 40 things or more on the grill and you don't know which one is which, you do know, but like it just, it slips up, it messes it up. So I was getting overwhelmed, and then Diego got mad at me and told me to go on dishwasher. Now, during this transition of me going, and so he jumped on the grill, and then Mark came over and started doing the burger prepping. Uh, Apparently Diego missed an order and of fish, which was not mine, which at the time it was not up for me. And so I went and did dishwasher for like 30 minutes. And when I came back on grill, I pushed it through all the tickets, doing well. Not well, but I was able to keep up with them. And I was doing really good. I was really proud of myself. And then Diego's like, "Where's my fish? I need my fish right now." I'm like, "What fish are you talking about?" He said, "I need a fish right now." And 30 minutes ago, there's an order for a fish. There is no fish. And remember, it has to be out by 10 minutes. 10 minutes is like the max you can go. You can't go past 10 minutes. And so there's this fish just out there for 30 minutes missing. And he got so mad at me, but I'm like, it wasn't my fault. I didn't see a ticket. There was no ticket for fish 30 minutes ago. If there was a ticket for a fish 30 minutes ago, I would have done it. So it must have been when it transitioned and you were doing the grill. So you missed the fish, but he didn't like me standing up for myself and talking back to him, which I wasn't being rude about it in any sense. I was literally it was 30 minutes ago. I was not here 30 minutes ago. If I saw the ticket, I would have done it, but it wasn't here. And so then he got mad at me and told me to go out and do dishwasher again. I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. So I went out, did dishwasher, and then I came back, and then they told me to get on a salad station. Now, I only did salad station, as I said, for 30 minutes. And, for 3 times, sorry. I only did salad station 3 times, 3 days. Only 3 days. And I wasn't even out training yet. I was still in training, where, like, someone has to be there and help me along with it. But I was still in training on salads. However, it was a busy night. And when I got out there, the whole ticket thing was full. And I had to do it. I had to do all of it. So I started doing it, and I have this little cheat sheet that they allow me to use that has the recipes for everything. Except there's not a recipe for certain things that I didn't know how to make. And I don't know, I've only worked there for 3 days, so I don't know the recipes by heart. On the grill, I know the recipes by heart. I know what cheese goes on what and how to make it. On the salads, I don't know the recipes. So I've only worked 3 days, like 2 weeks ago. So, while they're also training me on other stuff. So these 3 days, I completely basically forgot about. And because I've been so focusing on this stuff. And then when then it became super busy, and I got the tickets, and I started doing the tickets, and the tickets were getting I was getting overwhelmed by the tickets, and the Mark came over to me, and he was like, so I had to put down a tortilla, right? I had to put down a tortilla to cook it. And I was literally waiting for just just a couple seconds, just so I can wait, so I don't have to come all the way over here, because the tortillas are over here. My orders were over here. So instead of me walking over here, and I was like right over here. So instead of walking all the way over here for like only a couple seconds before I had to walk all the way back, I thought it'd be best to be over here and wait for the tortilla, and because it takes like 5 minutes to cook. So I already put it down, walked over here, was doing more stuff, and walked back over here and waited for it to be fully done. And then Mark said, "What are you doing?" And I said, "I'm waiting for the tortilla." It's almost cooked. And he said, okay, well, let's just sit here and wait for you. And then he said, no, get the fuck back over there and start working. And I'm like, Jesus. And then so I went over there and I grabbed the tortillas, ran back over there, started making the salads, and so I had the cheat sheet, right? And then I put it out in front of me so I could look at it, and then Mark grabbed it and then threw it across the area, across the little station, and said, don't use it, make it now. And I said, I don't know how to make it. He said, I don't care, make it. And I'm like, I don't think you understand. I don't know how to make this salad. I would make the salad if I knew how to make it. However, I don't know how to make it. So then he came over to my face and literally this close. He's like, make it, make it, make it. Come on, hurry, faster. Make it, make it, make it. Why aren't you working? Make it, make it. And I was working, but I don't know how to make it. So, and when I reached for the wrong salad, he said, no, what are you doing? You're grabbing the wrong salad. You're grabbing the wrong lettuce. Make it, make it, make it. That's not the right ingredient. Make it. And then that kept going on. And Diego, and I was like, Diego, I don't know what I'm doing. Can you please help me? And he said, you should know what you're supposed to do. Why don't you know what to do? I said, I don't. I only worked 3 days, like 2 weeks ago, and I'm still in training. I don't know. And he said, I don't care. You should know how to make this. And I'm like, I don't know how to make it. So I was never shown how to make this certain thing, and this certain thing is not on the menu. It's not on the cheat sheet. I don't know what to tell you. So I'm getting overly stressed, and I feel myself like I'm about to explode. And I'm getting angry, and I'm just not doing okay. But I'm just trying to keep my cool as best as possible. And cookies right there. And so I'm trying to keep. So that was slow. So I'm trying to keep my cool, and then lunchtime comes around, and then so I go and I order a thing of chicken wings and a small bowl of macaroni, just a small side. And I was making it, and then I made it, and then Diego came over to me. He said, "Wait, why did you make both of those?" I said, "Because it's lunchtime and I can." And he said, "No, you cannot make that. Why did you make that?" I'm like, "Well, I was Mickey. Hey, Mickey." And I was given permission. Okay, my mom just got back home. I will continue this later. Okay, and we are back. Believe it or not, it's actually 1 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, so I started filming this at like 2:30 in the afternoon, and now it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So yeah, it was a bit of a time difference. But I was gonna make it in the morning, but I remember I have a really busy day tomorrow, so I don't really have time to do that. So anyways, so yeah, I got my lunch, right? And I went and I'm eating, and then the manager comes over and he's like, "Why are you eating this?" And Diego was like, "I don't know why he's eating this." And I'm like, I've gotten permission from multiple different people before that it was okay to have this. I'd like to have this like for lunch. And they're like, "Well, you didn't ask me for permission." I'm like, I don't think I would need to ask you for permission since I've already known it's a thing. And they're like, "Oh, well, you can't order this every single day because it counts money." And I'm like, okay, well, I wasn't ordering this every day. I just ordered it this time. And then they continued to bitch at me about it. And so I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna quit. I decided right there and then that that's was when I was gonna quit my job. And it was so then I was sitting back there enjoying my food and enjoying essentially my last meal. um, some buffalo wings with a side of macaroni. It was really good. It was really good. They do have really good food, I'll give them that. And I'm sitting there eating it, and I'm just like, am I really gonna quit? Do I really want to quit? Yeah, I want to quit. And I'm just going through all the different scenarios in my head. And I overall decided, yeah, I'm gonna quit. It's not worth staying here and being bitched at by, like, if it was just like one coworker having an issue with me, I'd be like, okay, hey, manager, I gotta talk to you, you know. But since it was a manager and my prep and a coworker, there's just no winning against that. So I decided just to not go against them and quit. And with that as well, because and that's just at work itself. Now, being at my dad's house, it was really nice. It was really great. But because there are family issues going on, there was potential of having to move and at the just leave at any moment. And I wasn't wanting to continue working at a job that I was. Why did it get unfocused? But anyways, I wasn't wanting to work at a job that was causing me a lot of stress and then have to just work there until we gotta leave and then move. So that's another big factor as to why I did that. And so yeah, so that was my job. And so now, and that was just one of the reasons why I was wanting to leave. But, and so then I got back, and then they gave me very strict things like, okay, you need to go out and get another job. And so I searched online, and I got one interview, and they never gave me a call back. And then but the actual reason why I left, like the main reason why I left, is because on my last day at work, I was walking, and just so for the record, I'm not telling you this to cause any issues or whatever. I'm just simply giving an update about my life. And I'm not saying this to attack anyone. I'm not saying this to make anyone feel like shit or causing more drama. So if anyone that is watching this video who is in fact a part of whatever happened, I just want you to know that I'm not trying to attack you in any sense, even though I felt attacked. I'm just stating it as I experienced it myself. So anyways, and out of respect of my family, I'm not going to I'm not going to say names. I'll just go by their title, I suppose, like cousin, aunt, whatever, stuff like that. So anyways, so I was walking to work on my last day of work, and my cousin texted me out of nowhere, and which I thought was weird because I have not spoken to him. So I haven't actually, because I've never really been a part of that side of the family before, my dad's side of the family, and I never really, never got to be a part of that family. I saw them once or twice, I think, once or twice when I was 12 and 13. No, when I was 11 and 12, I saw them. But my other cousin that I'm referring to, last time I saw him was when I was 7 years old, and then last year when I went to his mom's funeral, and he is 18, so we're fairly close in age. And so I was walking to work, and he texted me, and he had my Snapchat because I talked to him a week before, on the phone, and then we exchanged Snapchats, but we never talked after that. So walking to work, and then he texted me saying, "Hey, I'm at a party and I'm doing drugs. I'm high." And I'm like, okay, well that's, and then he said, "I bought acid for my friends and I'm doing drugs. I'm high right now." And I'm like, well, that's kind of weird for you to bring that up with me, like just literally out of the blue. Like it didn't start like, "Hey, what's up? How you doing?" It was literally first text, "I'm at a party, high, doing drugs, and I bought my friends acid." And I'm like, okay, well, I shut up, Cookie. I thought it was weird because me and him don't have that. Never had like a kind of relationship to where we can talk about deeper stuff that goes on like that. So I was like, okay, that's kind of odd, but okay, I'll go along with it for now. And he was talking about how he was just doing drugs and stuff, eating edibles and stuff. And I'm like, well, just don't do serious drugs. And sorry, the cat's meowing. And because I know that he's going through a tough time right now because of his mom's death last year, I didn't know if this was like a cry for help, if it was him trying to show off, him trying to ask me to join him in doing drugs, because I don't do drugs. And so I wasn't sure. So I'm like, "Hey Dad, you know him better. What's your take on this?" And he didn't even know he did drugs either. And so then we let his aunt know, which is who is watching over him. And the and she thought she thought my dad was lying, because my dad was the one that talked to her, and then she talked to me about it. And then I felt like I could like talk to him about drugs, like kind of bond with him. And because I've been around the kind of groups of people that at a young age do drugs, and so I felt like I could talk to him and be like, "Hey man, you don't have to use drugs as a way out, as a coping mechanism." So that's weird. So anyway, so then we so my dad and I were planning a camping trip, and I'm like, "Hey, maybe we should invite my cousin to go camping. That'd be fun." And I was gonna be like, I could take this opportunity to talk to him and try to bond with him, and because we never had a bond, we never really been able to like hang out with each other or talk to each other, and since I was like 7 years old, and even then we were like little kids, and he was like 4 years old, so it wasn't even like anything. I don't really remember any much of it. I just have glimpses of my memory about it. But so we yeah, Dad and I were going camping, and we took me, my dad, my dad's stepson, and my uncle's son, and my dad's friend, and my cousin. And we all went camping, and it was actually on the camping trip where I caught like 7 fish. That was that camping trip. And it was really fun, as you could see. It was a really nice camping trip. And we invited my cousin, and I invited my cousin, and he was able to come, and we picked him up. And straight off the bat, he's like, "Hey man, can you buy me some cigarettes?" And my dad went out and bought him some cigarettes, and he's a chain smoker. And so we're like, okay, well, that's a thing, I suppose. I don't personally agree with it, but he's 18, it's his life, he can do what he wants with it. And then we're hanging out. He's a really nice guy. We're hitting off great. We're great friends, I would say. And we have a lot in common, and goofing around, whatever, just hanging out. And then later in the night, my cousin was talking to my dad, and my dad was wanting to be a fatherly figure in a sense. and be like, sit around the campfire and be like, so hey, so I heard some things and I just want to, talk, catch up base with you about this kind of stuff. And let me tell you my life experiences to show you that drugs and alcohol and stuff like that is not a way to go. And I don't know if the message got through to him, but so, and then my cousin came out as bisexual, which is, it's whatever. I think that's great that he's able to feel comfortable like that, and I totally support him 100%. And my dad wasn't. My dad's a little homophobic, and so it kind of set my cousin off a little bit. I think, I don't know. He seemed agitated, and because I've been trying to piece together what happened that night. And so that night there were the campsite. There were a lot of people. As you saw, like the picture of like the thing I was smoking. I wasn't actually smoking it. So everyone around, like all the campsites around us, were smoking pot. There's so much pot in the air. I got almost hotboxed from just being in the environment around there. And then me and my dad's friend were talking about our ghost stories of us being high, and I showed him the video of me when I got high, and I had the bad trip. And so we were just talking about it, about all our experiences, and then the people, our neighbors next to us, was like, "Hey man, do you got a light?" And then we thought it was a cigarette, and my dad's friend's a smoker, and so he pulled out a lighter, and then they handed us a toilet paper roll. A paper towel roll filled with pot. And I busted out laughing. I'm like, that's so funny. I'm not gonna smoke it. They offered if I wanted to take a puff of it. I'm not gonna. I wasn't in the mood, and I didn't want to have another bad trip, especially out in the wilderness. But so I didn't take a puff, but I put it next to my face, and I got hotboxed because that was seriously strong stuff, just from like right there in your face. It was a lot. And so I was hotboxed, and when I get hotboxed, I'm very calm, and just really calm, just sitting back and taking everything in, and so anyway, so it was getting late at night, and my cousin and my stepbrother and I decided to sleep in a tent together, all together in the same tent, as because my stepbrother, he's 18. And so we're like, we're all, not 18, he's 17, sorry. He's 17. And so we're like, hey, let's all, we're all around the same age group. Let's all sleep in the same tent, And so we were in the tent together. And then my cousin started talking to me about, we were just talking, and then he just started talking about how he had schizophrenia. And I'm like, oh, okay. That's neat, I suppose. So I've studied psychology, so I had an idea of a sense. I had a pretty good idea about what he was talking about, and then he was just talking and talking, and then he started having hallucinations about spiders crawling on him in the tent. And at this point, my stepbrother woke up, and he was sitting in the corner. Now, the thing with my stepbrother is he has Asperger's. He's super awesome. Like, he's just a really awesome guy. But he has Asperger's, so he's just kind of being quiet, and he's just sitting in the corner, and in the corner of the tent. And my cousin, he started having a schizophrenic episode. Now, I don't know if the marijuana set him off, if my dad agitating him about him coming out bisexual set him off. We're all trying to figure out what set him off that night, because it was totally awesome guy in the campground, but as soon as we got in the tent, it was like which I know that's how schizophrenia works, and he's bipolar schizophrenia, so it is just kind of like a click, and then it's like, oh, like totally different person. And then he was talking about how he had split personalities as well that didn't like each other. And then he was talking about how the voices in his head tell him to kill his friends and family. And so at this point, I was getting pretty on edge in a sense. I was like, okay, this is interesting that you're because you're crazy and you're schizophrenic. So you can't mess with that kind of stuff, especially if you're having an episode, you can't mess with that kind of stuff. So in my mind, I was just trying to keep him as calm as possible so that he wouldn't try to do anything. Or because I've been around people that have had schizophrenic episodes, and it can get very, very scary very fast. And I don't know what my cousin's capable of, but as he's talking, and he did have a knife in the tent with us. He did bring a tent in with us. He did bring a knife into the tent with us. So I always had that in the back of my mind while talking to him. And he was just let his mind go on his schizophrenia and opened up himself. I don't know if it was a pot, if he just felt comfortable around me. Which, if that's the case, I'm glad he was able to feel comfortable around me to the point where he can feel like he can open himself up. But, there's a time and place for everything, and especially when you're sleeping next to someone. And he started talking about how he wanted to do a school shooting, how he wants to go blow up a school, what chemicals. He talked about in great detail about the chemicals he would use in a bomb, and where to place the bombs, and place the bombs, like wait for a fire drill schedule, and then place the bombs where everyone lines up at, and then place bombs in trash cans to make the most damage done. And talking about how he'd have a bomb on his back so that if he gets shot or whatever, he could pull the trigger at the last moment and blow himself up. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, okay. Hey. So I totally get you're crazy and you're totally having voices that tell you to kill your family and friends. But hey, I'm fucked up too. You shouldn't feel the need to kill me, especially in my sleep. I wasn't telling him like that. I was being more, mature and understanding about it. But I was like, hey, Bonnie and Clyde, they were two fucked up individuals. They didn't kill each other. Hey, I'm fucked up, you're fucked up. Hey, you don't have to kill me. So I was just humoring him and letting him, and trying to keep him as calm as possible. And I feel bad for my stepbrother, because he's just sitting there and taking it all in. And I talked to him later about it. He said he thought we were joking, but when I told him it was actually serious, that I was joking, that I was lying, straight up lying to my cousin's face, so that he wouldn't kill me or kill my brother. And since he had a knife on him, I don't want him. I don't know what he's capable of doing or whatever. So I was lying to him so that he would not feel like he has to lash out, especially if he's bipolar. Anything can set him off, and I don't want to make him feel like, if I got up out of the tent, like, hey, I'm gonna go outside for a minute in the middle of this really fucked up conversation, and then let Dad know he could, quickly hold my brother hostage or whatever. I don't want anything like that to happen. So I was just doing like reverse psychology and like using psychology to my advantage and trying to just keep him as calm as possible. So then I was just trying to get as much information out of him, because you always hear about these school shootings that go down, and they're like, the families are always like, yeah, we knew he was crazy, but we never said anything. And so I'm like, this is one of those moments where you don't just stand by and let this crazy guy do whatever. You have to tell someone and get him the help he needs. So, but I also wanted to find out more information about whatever he's planning, because the way he was talking was he had a set plan. So I wanted to get as much information about him. So if he had like a certain date, or if he had like an accomplice or whatever, that he would talk to me about that, and so that I could then later tell whoever I need to tell. And then he was talking about how he knows he's crazy and he was gonna let that because he'll go in psych wards, and then he would break fluorescent lights and then go around stabbing people in the necks. And then he's like, as I would stab someone in the neck, their blood would gush out and they'd die. like not even exaggerating. That's exactly how he was. Like, he was maniacally laughing at this kind of stuff. Like, maniacally, like, as he was talking about it, he had like this, like, you have this, crazy people have a look in their eye. And I saw it earlier today, but I just thought he was on drugs, so I didn't think too much about it. But he had the look, and he had this like smile, like, kind of look to him, and it was really scary. and then I'm like, so you talk about being crazy, but like, do you actually think you are crazy, or do you think that the doctors just told you you're crazy, so now you feel like you're crazy? Like, because I was trying to get into like trying to like understand where he was coming from, and he looked at me like, yeah, I'm crazy. So whether or not he was putting on a show, or if he was on drugs, or if he didn't take his medication, because I did see him hold his medication bottle, but I didn't actually see him take it. And I was later informed that you have to actually watch him take the medicine. But whether or not he was just putting on a show, or trying to act cool, or be funny, or whatever, I felt like he was going to kill me in my sleep, and he would have killed anyone in the room. I mean, in the campsite. And I was not going to go to sleep that night. At this point, it was already like 4 o'clock in the morning, 4:30 to 5, and I was not going to go to sleep. I was going to wait until the first person wakes up, go out and let them know, and then go from there. But I was hotboxed, and I was relaxed, and somehow I managed myself. I managed to fall asleep. So, and thinking back on how stupid that was, it was crazy. So when I woke up, I only had an hour of sleep. I woke up at 6 o'clock. I fell asleep at 5, and I woke up at 6 in the morning. And when I woke up, I only had an hour of sleep, so I was like in and out. I was like, I was out of it, and plus I was still hotboxed, I think, and so I was coming out of it. And when I woke up, when my eyes were adjusting to reality, here's me, right? He was kneeling over me like this, staring into my eyes. Every time I opened my eyes, he was just like this. I don't know if I did it, but he just had this blank stare, and it looked as if he was like staring into my soul. And it takes a lot to genuinely creep me out, but that genuinely sent chills to my spine, and I genuinely felt creeped out. And I was a stupid person in a horror movie. If you think about a horror movie, I was a stupid person. I didn't punch, I didn't kick, I didn't scream. I just laid there, and I was like for like a couple seconds, and he was just sitting over me, just staring into my eyes. And then I quickly got up, and then I got out the tent, and I was about to go tell my dad, and then he came out of the tent, and he was totally normal again, as if nothing ever happened, as if nothing ever happened. Yeah. And that's how bipolar schizophrenia works. It's like one moment you're totally normal, and the next moment you're totally crazy, next moment you're totally normal. So I don't know if like the tent set him off. Like, once again, I don't know what set him off, but something set him off. and something clicked him back into reality. And so we were starting, and so we were gonna start. So we were starting ready to pack, and we were packing up the car and getting everything ready. And then, so it was me, my dad, my dad's friend, in my dad's car, and then my uncle, my stepbrother, my cousin, and my uncle's son, who's 7 years old, is in their car, and they're driving ahead of us, and we're driving behind them. And I let Dad know everything. And then he's like, okay, you need to call the aunt that my cousin lives with. And so I call my aunt. I give her the full rundown of everything, and she tells she tells us to go take him to the hospital, like right away. And so we're like, okay, and that she would meet us there. And so we were trying to flag down my uncle because we were trying to call him, but he wouldn't answer. And so then we finally flagged him down, pulled over on the side of the road, and my cousin was watching us. And so my dad pulled a quick move, smart move, and he opened up the hood, and he was pointing at the engine like as if something was wrong with it. There was nothing wrong, but he made it seem like that, and then he was letting my uncle know what was going to go down real quick. So we were driving, and we pulled into we went to my grandma's house, because she lives across the street from the hospital. And we dropped off my stepbrother, we dropped off my dad's dog, and I was telling my uncle, like, you should probably drop off your son here. I don't think it's a very good idea for him to be here when this goes down. And he said he'll be fine. I'm like, it's your son, I can't tell you what to do, but it's, whatever, okay. And so my dad told my cousin that my aunt fell and she hurt herself and she's in the hospital, which is why we're going there, so he doesn't get suspicious. And he was like, okay, well, do you think I could stay at your house afterwards? And my dad's like, yeah, sure. And he looked really happy, he looked really excited, and I felt bad for him. I mean, I love him, he's my cousin and all, but I genuinely felt bad for him. But I know that getting him help is the best thing for him. And so we went to the hospital, and it was such a stupid setup. It was so stupid. I thought it was be done much better. It was so poorly set up. I thought there's gonna be like doctors or at least cops there waiting for us at the front entrance, or we would let him walk into the hospital and then confront him. No, my aunt was standing there by herself in the front door, and then we pulled up. She went over, opened the door, and was trying to tell him to get out of the car. And he said no, he's not going to get out. And then I'm like, oh my god. So then I go inside real quick to inside the hospital, and I get some security guards, and then 3 security guards come out with me. And they're like, so what seems to be the problem? And I tell them everything. And then they're like, okay, we cannot legally make him go into the hospital unless we hear from his mouth that he is wanting to hurt himself or others. And so, and that was another thing. When we were in the tent, my cousin, he lifted up his long sleeve shirt, and from his wrist all the way to the shoulders, it's just nothing but cuts from him self-harming. And he had me run my fingers along his favorite scars that he has, and tell me like which ones were which and for what, and which one was his favorites. And anyway, so they're like, we cannot legally bring him in. If you really think this is necessary, then call the cops. The cops will come, and if they feel like he is a threat, then they will admit him. And then my cousin got out of the car. No, not yet. So he's sitting there, and then my uncle's sitting in the front seat, and my cousin's in the back seat, and then my uncle's son, my other cousin, my 7-year-old, he's sitting in the seat next to my cousin. And I'm like sitting there, I'm like by the front entrance. I'm like, oh my god, is no one gonna take the kid out? And I'm like, this is like getting bad. Like, is anyone gonna take the kid out? And so then I quickly run over there. I grab the kid, and I'm like, hey, so your cousin he's sick. He has the flu. I don't want you to get sick either. So I need you to come with me. And so I picked him up and I put him inside the hospital, inside the front door entrance, so that in case my cousin decided to attack or do whatever, and plus my 7-year-old cousin doesn't need to see that. He doesn't need to be around that kind of stuff. And so yeah, my cousin gets out of the car, and then he starts walking around the parking lot, and my aunt is following him, and then he just bolts, runs away, and then we're all looking for him, and then the cops are called, and then my dad told him that he is armed and dangerous, and so there's like 6 different cop patrol cars looking around the area, and it took we were driving around for the actual looking around went on for a couple hours, 2-3 hours I think, and then my cousin ended up calling me, he texted me saying, "Don't ever pull that shit on me again. I'm really good from hiding the cop. I'm really good from hiding from the cops, from you and the cops." And then I convinced him to call me on the phone, and we talked for 15 minutes, and he thought it was like a game. And I was like, okay, well, if anything drastic goes down, I want you to know that, if you do anything drastic, just let me know first so that I can prepare for whatever goes down. I love you, and, this is crazy. And I was trying to let him know that maximum thing recorded. So I just want to let him know, whatever you do from here on out, you will be charged as an adult. So you need to be safe. You need to be smart about whatever you do. And then I told him to call his sister, and then he talked to his sister, and then he ended up turning himself in. So pretty crazy, right? So the actual reason why I left, though, is because I was wanting to go into the hospital right there and then, right as he turned himself into the hospital. I want to go in there, talk to the cops, talk to the doctors, talk to whoever I need to talk to give my statement as to what we experienced in the tent, because that needs to be on record. And but my aunt was trying to sugarcoat everything and was like, oh, he wasn't actually, he's just off his medication, he's fine, you don't have to worry about anything. And since she was the legal guardian, she made it so that no one else can go in. So I legally could not go in and speak to the doctors or the cops. And I tried calling the cops and letting them know, but it was on a special, the cop that was actually there on the investigation gave my dad his phone number, but I could never get a hold of him. And so I was going to wait until the next day to call the police station, make a report, and then my aunt called my dad and talked to him. And so turns in, what he did was he told my aunt everything that I said in the tent, which was all lies. I told him literally lies about myself, just so he wouldn't kill me or attack or do whatever. And so he told the cops, told the doctors, told his aunt, basically everything I said. But then, though he said that he didn't remember anything that happened that night, but then he managed to remember everything that I said. And so then my aunt called my dad, and my aunt called my cousin's sister, and was like, so do you know if Sebastian's crazy? Do you know anything like that? And she's like, no, I don't think he's crazy. I don't know him that well, but I know he's an artist, he does comic books. And then she said, let me see some of his drawings, and if you guys know my drawings, they're very fucked up and gory and perverse, and I don't like drawing restrictions. Just because I draw doesn't mean I'm gonna actually act out on my drawings. So my my cousin's sister sent my aunt a couple of drawings that I did in the past, which were pretty bloody and messed up. And so she was putting two to two together and thinking that I am also crazy and that I'm in the same boat as him and that I should be put in the hospital as well. And so she showed the cops, and the cops said that they will keep an eye out, keep a like, not like go to me, but keep me in their thoughts, pretty much, like keep me on the radar in a sense. And so then my aunt called my dad, told him everything, and my dad doesn't know exactly how to be the best fatherly figure, and is like, well, I think that you should go to the hospital and check yourself in, and because I don't know how to help you, which I don't need help. I mean, yeah, sure, I could probably see a therapist from time to time. I would like to see a therapist, but he thinks to solve my issues is to throw me into a psych ward and then put me in the same boat as my cousin, which is not the case at all. And so I'm not gonna be down there and have my family accuse me of being crazy, and then have my dad one day be like, oh, hey, so we're gonna go fishing. Oh, actually, I lied. I'm taking you to the hospital. And no, fuck you, Kyle.
What?
Fuck off. Go fuck off. I'm doing a video.
Why are you telling me to fuck off?
Okay, fine. I know it's 1 o'clock. That's why I'm doing this video real quick, and then I'm gonna edit it, and then I'm going to post it, and then I'm gonna go to bed. Yeah.
She needs me.
She does need you. Take her in your room.
Huh?
Yeah, can I have some privacy, actually? I know I'm posting this, and people are gonna watch.
What? Shut your ass.
I would just like a little bit of privacy. When I do my Pokadot tie updates, I like to be by myself. That way I don't have any distractions, and I can just. Okay, I'll come talk to you in a bit.
No, I don't want to talk anymore.
You don't want to talk anymore? Okay. I'll come talk to you in a bit, okay? I'll come talk to you in a bit. Anyways. So... so yeah, no, I'm not gonna be down there while my family accuses me of being crazy. And then my dad randomly try to make me go to the hospital. Because I'm not crazy, by any means. I draw fucked up and reverse things because I have an overactive imagination, and because I just have an interest in that. Doesn't mean I'm gonna actually act out my drawings. So then I'm like, I'm not gonna, yeah, so I called my mom, like, Mom, come get me. And she's like, okay, I'm gonna get off work, get in the car, drive down there, pick you up, and drive back. And that's exactly what I did. And so I didn't want to, like, make my dad feel like make him feel like, oh no, he's trying to escape. I'm gonna go put him in, call someone or call cops or whatever. So I just told him that I was gonna go to my friend's house for a week. That because of my vlogs, you'll see that I was with my friend going to San Francisco. And so I told my dad that, and I was gonna go see him for a week. So that's why I need an excuse to pack up all my stuff. And so then I did that, and so then I packed up, and then my mom got in around 12 o'clock to midnight, 1 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock at night, and and then as my dad was walking, I was wanting to my plan was to just go to where my mom picked me, to where my mom was going to pick me up, get in the car, then go, and then get on the road. And when I was on the road, I'd then call my dad and be like, hey Dad, so I'm actually going home, I love you, da 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 da, right? But my dad decided to walk down with me, and so as we were walking there, as I saw my mom's car, I'm like, by the way, Dad, I'm not going to my friend's house, I'm actually going back home, I love you. And then we hugged. My dad started crying, and I do love him, but that's not what I need. And so yeah, then got in the car, went to go see Zane, and you pretty much saw the rest of the whatever happened then. So yeah, so that's basically so now I'm back home in Oregon, and I have a month to get myself, like, I'm gonna do my driver's manual, gonna get driver's license, and I'm going to get into shape. So starting today, I've been on the diet, exercising. I'm going to be getting up at 6 in the morning in 5 hours, and I'm going to go on a morning jog, and then yeah, so I have a month to just focus on me, on my body and my mental health, and go from there. So I just wanted to get this out there. And once again, I'm sorry if I was told, my dad told me not to share this information with anyone, but I feel like I need to share it, not for shits and giggles, but because I need to get it out of my system one way or another. And drawing typically helps me, but with this kind of stuff, I just need to be able to talk and get it all out of my system. So that's the purpose of this video, and just to give you guys just a head, what's going on in my life. So yeah, that's the end of this Pokadot tie update. I think I'm gonna do a new trend now. Not trend, but new thing. That I'm just gonna do like a PewDiePie like that. But instead, I'm just gonna fucking like smudge my thing off. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. So yeah, end of the Pokadot tie update. Toodles.